In this section, you're going to learn how to remove green screen background from green screen footage and also composite video clips together. So this is more the visual effects side of After Effects. And so here we have this footage of this dog, and this is actually green screen footage, and I put it on top of this background, which you see it has a little bit of motion to it. It's panning across the screen. You got some motion in the leaves. It's very subtle, but you got some motions in the leaves back here on the ground. The cool thing is that this is actually just a photo. And so I've been able to manipulate it to have some very subtle motion because when adding this green screen footage of the dog on top of the photo, it looked too static and too still. So with this section, this is one of the projects that I actually provide for you. So in the downloads, there's the project folders download, and you'll find the green screen project, which looks like this, and you'll have the original project that I was working on. Now I'm going to go over working on it from scratch with you if you want to follow along. The first thing you need to do is download the green screen footage. There's free green screen footage online that you can find, and I provided links in the lesson before this. So if you didn't do that already, go to that video, and it's totally free. They've given us permission, but they don't really give a direct download to this. So I'm using KeepVid to download YouTube videos. So copy the YouTube URL, go to keepvid.com, paste the link, click download, and then go ahead and download the 720p version. That should be fine for working with this video clip. In After Effects, let's import that green screen footage, and at the same time, let's go to our Photos folder and bring in the grassy hill photo. Drag the green screen clip to a new composition, and we're going to be applying an effect to this green screen. We haven't looked too much at effects yet, but we've done a couple, and you'll see that there's a folder for keying. Keying is what we're doing with green screen. There's different effects that can clean up our key and stuff like that, but Keylight 1.2 is the main effect we're going to use. To apply any of these effects to any layer, just click and drag it onto the layer in the composition or onto the layer in the timeline. In the effects controls window up here, you have your different settings. So the first thing you'll want to do is, if you can, mask this clip so you can get rid of as much green as possible, so you don't have to make After Effects do extra work to remove it. So I'm going to take my pen tool with this clip selected. I'm just going to draw around this husky dog and close our mask. So now After Effects doesn't have to do any work. Well, look, I see looks up, so let's make sure this point is up above his ear or her ear. So that looks good. Now with the Keylight 1.2 effect, choose this little color dropper. There's eyedropper next to screen color. And then click somewhere close to the dog. Usually I go for somewhere in the shadows, so this darker part of the green. What happens is it will automatically try to remove the green screen. It's kind of hard for you to see, but there is this sort of cloudiness up here in the darkness. You see the background, and so we're going to have to clean this up a bit. To clean up green screen footage, there's a few things you can do. You can increase the screen gain, which might help, or you can go into the screen matte options. What happens when you remove green screen is you sometimes get these little white dots or these little black spots that are left over. And that's where we can use these clip black and clip white sliders. So when I drag up clip black, what happens is it removes all of those spots in the black area. So I want to do that until all of those spots are gone. If I go too far, I start to make my puppy disappear. So I don't want to go too far. With clip white, if I drag down, it brings back some of those highlights that might have got lost within our puppy. So if I, put it at 0, there might be parts of our puppy that are actually lost. So I'm going to bring this back down a little bit. You can also use this screen shrink or grow to expand the edges. If you expand, maybe you want to add a little bit of softness as well. So this will basically feather the edges. If you're playing through your video, I don't have too much of a problem with this one, but if you're playing through it and you're getting this sort of noisiness in it, you might want to increase the D-spot black or the D-spot white, maybe both of them. And you can see as I increase this, it kind of gets rid of those highlight spots where the details are. And so I might want to do that just a little bit. Bringing up the D-spot black brings back some of those details as well. With green screen, it's all about playing around. I don't like this highlight around the pup's ears, and I think that's from this grow shrink. So I'm gonna actually just shrink this down a little bit, decrease the softness as well, something like that. That's the basis of removing green screen from your background. Now, if I add a background color, for example, by pressing Command Y to bring up a new solid, let's make it red, Control Y if you are on PC. Now, if I put this beneath our green screen pup, you can see our pup is on top. You'll also notice that we have some red shining through our pup. And this is important to look at because this allows us to, again, play with our settings to make sure that we're not having any white spots that are being clipped. So if I drag down the white even more, we see that now we don't have any of those red spots coming through. Cool, so that's how you remove the background. In the next video, we're going to be starting our composite, and I'll be walking through some things that you need to keep in mind when you're layering different layers with green screen.